Brexit means Brexit, and we're going to make a success of it. There will be no attempts to remain inside the EU.
It cost David Cameron his job and made Nigel Farage's dreams come true. Some 18 months ago, the United Kingdom voted to leave the European Union, and in just over a year, Britain's 40-year relationship with the EU will come to an end. But not if these guys have anything to do with it. They're called Renew, and they're going to do everything they can to stop Brexit. Inspired by Emmanuel Macron's En Marche movement, the group describes themselves as the more military arm of the Remain campaign and hope to contest in the UK's next general election. There they say they'll target pro-Leave MPs in areas that voted strongly to remain part of the EU. But will they really be able to block Brexit? Well, let's ask one of the party's leaders, Sandra Khadhouri. She's coming to us from London. Thanks so much for joining us. Sandra, do you really believe you're going to be able to overturn a democratic process where the majority of Britons voted one way? It sounds very anti-democratic, doesn't it?
Well, actually, the tide is turning here. It's not just us, our political party, that is saying we shouldn't really leave the European Union. It's many groups at the moment, many campaigning groups, and even some MPs and prominent people have come forward now to say, you know what, we're not going to get a better deal in the European Union if we leave, so we really must stay for the benefit of the whole country.
So because of buyer's remorse, you want to have possibly another referendum?
Well, actually, Brexit voters and many people are saying they are changing their minds at the moment. Now they know more about the cost of leaving the European Union. The government has failed in its negotiation approach to help to produce anything that's constructive and that's going to be a better alternative to staying in the EU. And people are aware of that. They're learning more every day about the costs to our country, that we'll have to pay 50 billion to leave the EU. Our economic growth is down. We're losing vital cooperation mechanisms. And now people are learning all that. They're saying we didn't know it would be this complicated, and actually it would distract the government from addressing the problems that we really have.
And for those who would say, all you guys want to do is have as many votes as you can until you get the result that you need. That's not democratic, and that's not respecting the will of the people way back when they actually voted to leave. How would you respond?
Well, it is completely democratic for people to change their minds when they get more information. And actually, it was a very narrow vote, we remember, a year and a half ago, where it was only 52% versus 48%. And now, in fact, polls show a swing the other way. So it was never enough of a consensus for us to leave the EU. We should have really had a two-third majority in order to carry out such a difficult and time-consuming process that was going to be painful for every sector and every demographic in the country. And I think it is perfectly democratic for people to hear new information and reconsider a very complicated proposition, which is leaving the European Union.
What are your goals for those elections coming up in May?
Well, we actually want to talk to people about renewing the country. We really want to say that let's address our grievances and inequality in Britain at the national level from our domestic position. We shouldn't leave the European Union to do that. We should look at living standards and low wages and housing, affordable housing, and public services that people feel have been crumbling and are not readily available for everyone. And these are the issues we need to look at in Britain and actually make sure that the left behind and the people who feel forgotten are also coming forward, and we can move forward together.
Why can't you do it within the traditional systems of Tory or Labour or Lib Dem? Why do we have to add a new sort of party to the noise, if you like?
Well, we feel, and a lot of people feel, that the political parties are failing us at the moment. And millions of people feel politically homeless here. They no longer believe in the two major parties, Conservative and Labour, because they feel that they haven't shown integrity and they've also been disconnected somehow with what people want, and they've led us to the path that we're on. So that while there are many fine MPs, many of them have not had the courage to stand up for the national interest. And we actually were not hearing anyone say what we wanted to say. So we've set up a new party so we can re-engage with the population. We're carrying out a tour of the country to talk to all different sectors, different regions, different age groups, and find out what people really want so we can come up with more effective policies to address them and make people's lives better.
Are you worried that you're putting all your eggs in one basket, where if the Brexit process does move forward as it is expected to, then you're done. You've lost your raison d'etre. You were a one-issue party. You're finished. Brexit happened. Move on. The party's dead. Is that what's going to happen?
Well, we are a one-issue party, but our issue is to fix Britain. And even if there was a Brexit, we would certainly work towards having the closest possible relationship with the EU, with our partners, and then hopefully bringing the UK back towards the EU in the coming years. And we would actually start to really address people's problems at home and make sure that we really are addressing insecurity and division in the country and this feeling that there's inequality between rich and poor. And we would really have to be addressing that. So we still think, though, there is a big chance to stop this Brexit process, and we are going to try and do it with many other people who feel the same way.
Sandra Khadhouri, really good to get some insight into your party, and no doubt we'll be talking again in the not too distant future. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Newsmakers.